Hello, and welcome to Vibration, where I empower individuals to speak their distinct truth, passions, and personal message on a global online stage. I'm your host, Michelle McDonald, passionate author, speaker, and entrepreneur. And tonight, I give a very special thank you to our sponsor, Amber L, a Bahamian artisan skincare company that encourages you to nourish your everyday skin glow. Now, tonight is a very special episode. If you are not aware, I am ending season 3 with this topic and with this very, very special guest. I have a very big heart when it comes to creatives here in the Bahamas. I believe that they are the most talented and versatile individuals that we have here in the country. So I am excited and elated for tonight's guest, who is very well known when it comes to comedic creation as well as acting within the Bahamian community, and whom I have had the pleasure of meeting in September, which is none other than Donnell Morrison. Donnell Morrison. So, in connection with our theme, Representation Matters, Faces of the Caribbean, tonight's topic is Acting, a Gift of Purpose. Donnell Morrison grew up in Nassau, Bahamas, and is an alumni of Aquinas College. He continued his academic studies at the University of the Bahamas, where he attained a bachelor's degree in computer information systems. He began his acting career at a very early age, getting acting and participation roles at his home church in numerous plays and productions at Grace Community Church. He is also the youth leader and drama director there. Donnell is also a camp counselor at Camp Bahamas, a Christian sports camp located on the island of Eleuthera, where he has served in this role for nearly 10 years. He has since evolved in his acting career, being known in the Bahamian creative space as a comedic content creator with viral content across multiple social media platforms, including his Wendy's drive-through skit and the hilarious F&M versus PLP War parody. He was also seen in the play The Landlord, which was produced by Shakespeare in Paradise and Ring Play Productions. He continues to share his leadership and experience in acting to support local actors, including providing guidance for an upcoming Bahamian TV series. Donnell believes that he has found his purpose in acting and entertaining, which are a natural part of who he is. He has realized that acting goes beyond the talent and sees it as a gift that God wants him to use for his glory. Donnell, welcome, welcome.
Hello, how you doing?
I am very good, and I cannot wait to really dive into everything that you have created in the comedic space, but more importantly, that you have understand the depth that comes with acting and recognizing that it truly is a gift, which I think is something that a lot of people overlook. But let's
Yeah.
start at the beginning. What was it like growing up and being motivated in acting? Tell us about your creative journey.
Well, like you mentioned, by the way, that intro you gave was beautiful. I'm gonna ask you for a copy of it so I can put on my cover letters. I want to change a word from what you said. That was like ChatGPT for me. So thank you, appreciate that. But I'd say just like you say, when I started at a young age, and I really started with just participating in just small dramas and skits in the church. That's where I really got my foot wet. And it was fun. That's all I thought of it as, just fun and something you do for church. I never would have imagined at that age or back then that it would be something that I would actually find myself in fully and fully immersed in it. Because back then I just thought of it as something I just did. I grew up in the church from a child, like a little boy. And so I kept my church life separate from the rest of my life. Not that I was ashamed of it, but I never really thought like what I do for church would be the catalyst to make me who I am today. But like I said, it was fun, and it was only until, and I kept doing it as I grew up. The church started to know me more and more for doing those type of skits and dramas and plays, and I became a well-known um, person inside the church just for that reason alone. And it was only until college where I was really doing some purpose seeking, because I was really trying to figure out what is my purpose, that I there was a moment where there was just this click, and I realized, wait a second, I've been doing what I love to do all my life.
Hmm.
It was only in college that I realized that that's actually a gift I have, a talent God has given me. And that's when I started to go into doing more of my own personal things to see where I can go.
I admire the fact that once you enter college, you really started to question what is it that you wanted to do with your life, in your life, seeking a way to make more of an impact and a difference. This tends to happen more so like, in your 20s, maybe close to your 30s, because you're just trying to figure out life and you may have gotten your first job. And so,
Mhm.
that's usually when a lot of people try to align their steps to mean something. But the fact that you in college was thinking along those lines really speaks volumes.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah. Definitely college was definitely a self-seeking time, at least the first half of it, because obviously what you mentioned, I studied computer information systems. My passions, that's almost a complete left from my passions. Like what I studied, why I chose that major was simply because out of everything else, it seemed like just the not just the easiest but the best option. Like I didn't really care for all the other choices that was out there. I was recommended different medical fields like radiology and all those type of things. No, nah, 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 no. Like the computer stuff, that was pretty interesting, because at first I wanted to be like a gamer. I wanted not a gamer, a
Hmm.
game developer. So you see,
Okay.
like in the heart of hearts, I wanted to be able to create stuff. So you see, I still wanted to my true intentions was still to follow a creative side. But what I studied, well, that's all they had here at the University of the Bahamas. All they had was that computer information system. So I just followed it and did what I had to do, and it has allowed me to have certain jobs to use what I studied. So I'm grateful for that. But I realized that what I actually like to do is a far left from that.
Definitely, because when you think about it, computers are so technical, they're so precise, there's a specific language to it. And if you don't understand that, you're really not going to get anywhere. Whereas when it comes to being the creative space, it's really about what is your secret sauce? What are you bringing to make it your own? How are you commanding the audience? How are you portraying the words and really bringing the scene to life? And so it's really so interesting. And it comes as a word of encouragement for other young creatives as well to understand that you can move from one belief or perception of yourself in life and
Yes,
into another one that really matches who you are. And you kind of feel like you found your place.
yes, yes, exactly. Very much spot on. Hmm.
And so I appreciate that because then anyone who's listening, they can understand, well, if I have that inkling to be a creative, I can still follow that. Even if I do what I want to do as a 9 to 5, it's still possible and you can continue
Yes,
to grow as well.
definitely. Right here in the Bahamas, I'll be real, and a lot of creatives would agree with me. And when I say creatives in all different fields, music, art, fine arts, content creation, they would agree with me when it's very hard to make it in the Bahamas, especially in the creative side. It's like people appreciate you and they like the stuff you put out, but you don't really have much opportunities to really make a living out of it, like a standalone, like you stand on it by yourself. And while a lot of people have that passion for it, you'll find that a lot of them have to have actual jobs to make it. And when growing up and seeing that, I used to be like, oh, that really sucks, because there's so much talent here in the Bahamas, so much talented individuals. And if it was somewhere like in America or somewhere, God willing, like these people would be far along in their career path and their creative career path, and very likely might have been able to sustain themselves off of just their God-given natural abilities. But here in the Bahamas, yes, it's very much so. No one I know, maybe except one person, might be able to make a living off of just their creative side. A few people, a few exceptions, but most people, they gotta have that 9 to 5. And so that's no problem if you want to be a creative, but you have to have an actual job to sustain yourself. That's no problem. You don't let the job stop you from achieving your goals and your desires and passions.
Absolutely. So that is good and definitely a great takeaway that we want to be able to pass on to the audience. Comedy is such a unique perspective because laughter is like food for the soul. Why was it important for you to go after this particular aspect of content creation and acting?
Well, like I said, from a young age, like participating in drama skits and plays, everyone is they appreciate to be able to laugh.
Yeah.
And so I think it was a natural for me to want to bring smile and joy to people's faces. And to be honest, once you're known for something, it's kind of what people see you as. Like if you want to be known for different things, you have to act different. But it's not as if I had a problem with people seeing me for comedy. But it reached the point, and it is the point now where when I do still, because I still do productions and plays for skits and stuff at church, it reached the point now where the minute they see my face, they laugh. Like I don't even have to do anything yet, and they're ready to crack themselves up. Like I could just literally walk onto stage, and people are already busting out laughing. And so it just became like a part of me. And to be honest, while I don't want to be stuck in one segment, because as I go further in my acting career, I definitely want to develop my range and take on more serious roles. While that is the case, I still don't hate the fact that comedy is the avenue that I've taken, because at the end of the day, I love to bring smile and joy to people's faces. I love when I can have someone cracking up. I love their reports after watching my videos and saying how they were dying laughing and they couldn't catch. That brings like immense satisfaction and joy to me when I know like I've made someone's day.
I love that, especially because people don't really realize just how profound comedy itself really is. I think that we take it for granted. We're just like, we kind of brush it off. It's like, okay, that was funny. All right. But it can really change your entire mood. It can connect with a memory, a sense, a word that means something to you. And when you hear it and it makes you laugh, it's almost like it moves through your entire body. And so
Yeah.
it is something that is needed.
Yeah, definitely.
And so I really thank you for focusing on that particular aspect and bringing that to us, whether we're church members or just out here enjoying the talent that you have, because it is really, really making a difference.
Yes, thank you so much for that.
You're welcome. So youth development is a huge aspect of what you do and in how you support individuals throughout the Bahamas, and it's clearly seen in your roles as youth leader and camp counselor. And congratulations on nearly serving those 10 years at Camp Bahamas. Why was it important for you to step into these roles and serve as a role model for young teens and adults?
I feel like, how do I explain it? It happens so naturally. When you grow up in the church, when you grow up in the church and I should say actually active in the church, it's very easy to get pulled into things. And I don't mean in a negative way, I just mean like you just naturally like fall into place. And so I don't even know if there was a time where I said to myself, what ministry should I join? You know what? I should join the youth ministry. It wasn't even like that. I just like naturally like fell into place. Camp Bahamas was probably the first place that I actually stepped into a leadership position for young people. And that's simple because I was a young one myself. I mean, I say that like I old now. I a little older, but I still young. I won't reveal my age. But like from like fresh out of high school, I became a counselor because I was a camper right before that. And fresh when I graduated high school, obviously I'm at another age level. If I could have still been a camper, I would have been a camper. But since I couldn't, be like a youth no more, like a kid no more, enjoying it, there was still another way for me to still have fun, but also give back, and that was to be a counselor. The way I became a counselor was through one of my good friends in high school who only went to 1 year of camp, but the year later said she was going to become a counselor, and I said, "Excuse me, who, you who just come to camp and I've been going to camp for years? No, I'm gonna become a counselor too." So the two of us became counselors the same year, and it was a life changing experience to say the least. To
Wow.
wrap it all up, it was an amazing way to still enjoy camp, have fun, but also finally give back. I learned so much during my time counseling. I've grown so much. I stepped into more serious and leadership roles, and it's an experience that I would never um, regret. And then same for church. After I got older, they put me into church, into leadership roles in terms of giving back to the kids. And it was a toggle at one point, because at one point I wasn't too excited to be like a part of certain organizations, but
Mhm.
God showed me how much my impact is there, and how much even without me, what he's doing is an impact. And it humbled me to make me know that God wants me here for a reason, and that's what made me be able to enjoy it more. But yeah,
I admire your level of obedience because, like most of us, when our emotions or our thoughts start to come up, it can get the best of us, right? So we come off track, we lose focus on the real meaning behind what we're doing. But you allowed yourself to step back in place, listen to him, and understand that it's bigger than you. Your mission and your purpose is more than you.
yeah,
Yeah.
spot on.
And the amazing thing too is that you being a camp counselor is actually a very layered impact. So, of course, at the start, all of those survival skills that the young people learn through camping, because I was in brownies and Girl Guides. So I understand, all of these things that we kind of feel like, okay, we make fun of it at first, right? So like, okay, we're in the wilderness. Do you know how to
Mhm.
actually pitch a tent? Can you light a fire? And then we do the stuff like, oh, let's just make some s'mores here and there. But in reality, as we grow older in life and even start to connect with these persons that we've never met before, but they're
Mhm.
part of the program as well from like different schools and different islands, we realize that this is significant to how we live our lives, how we problem solve, how we see everyday situations. And so the fact that you learned that and was able to pass that on, like that has an amazing ripple effect in itself. And then also the fact that once you had learned these things, you wanted to, after all of those years, you still wanted to step in fresh with this energy, fresh with this knowledge, and keep that going. So all of that really, really says a lot into what you wanted to invest, but also in the level of knowledge that you're given as well. And I think only those who kind of go through it would understand it.
Yeah, definitely. Thing about camp, right, is that you are on the ball with a lot of it. But there's a common misperception with the particular camp I went to. A lot of people, when they hear camp, they think of the hiking and making a fire from it. I'd say the camp that I was a part of was a little bit more bougie, just a
Okay.
just a little, just a little bit
A
more.
little.
Just a tad bit more. We still do a lot of camp stuff, but we were more so on the side of more so like modern things, like sports and just like a lot of modern activities like jet ski riding, zip
Okay.
lining, archery, kayaking. Listen, I could continue all day,
Okay.
um, but we have more of the interview to go. But what I'm trying to say is that yes, you do definitely learn a lot of valuable life lessons while at camp. But I'd say apart from like the practical ones, more specifically the spiritual aspect of it, where it's like that's what really is the ripple effect right there. Being
Mhm.
able to grow. Camp Bahamas was one of the places where I actually built self-confidence and self-esteem. I had very low self-esteem growing up. I had low self-confidence. I didn't really believe in myself much. I had identity issues. And being in an environment where people loved you and accepted you for who you are and love you despite your flaws and don't even like see your flaws, they see you for who you are, that definitely left a mark on me. And when I got older, I made sure to do my best, I should say, to leave the same mark to others, be able to give them a little taste of what I was able to get and do my best to serve others.
I really appreciate that because, being a preteen and getting into that stage in your life, there are so many thoughts that go through your mind. There's family dynamics, school dynamics, trying to figure out who you are as a person. And so I love the fact that Camp Bahamas was able to give you something that you were able to pass on. And that more importantly, you were able to relate to them and understand what they were going through. And I think that's the benefit of having a counselor or a leader that is somewhat closer in age. Do you know what I mean? Because you kind of feel
Definitely.
like I can open up to you. You understand what I'm saying.
Mhm.
Whereas if it's someone
Definitely.
older, you respect them, but it's
Mhm.
almost as though you feel there's an unspoken barrier and you
Yeah.
don't allow yourself to be open.
Yeah, it's only rare times a older person, someone would be comfortable to share with an older person. You really have to be in it. Like you got to be like a part of their life,
Yeah,
and they can see that you're cool, and they can open up and share what they're going with. Yeah. So it is easier for younger people to get right there because they are more relatable. Yeah, definitely, you're correct.
absolutely. I think that discipline, talent, and versatility are absolutely required for acting, but they are often easily overlooked and at times mislabeled as being something that anyone can do. This is easy. Just get on the stage, laugh a little, show some personality, a little bit of attitude. And, we call this acting, and we just feel like anyone can just get out there, perform, and ace it.
Hmm.
Acting can at times be seen as a hobby, but in reality, it is a gift. And there's a meaning behind the characters and the stories that are portrayed. It is layered and it really brings storytelling to life. Let us know how it was that you found purpose in acting.
Well, like I said, back when I was younger, just doing it to do it, I did not think of it as something that I was going to eventually realize as a full on passion. I just did it to do it. I was good at it. It came naturally. It was fun. It was really fun. But I don't know why it took so long for me to realize that God gave me something. When you talk about people being able to not to like people think it's an easy thing. I know that people out there who know they can't do it. And while I do believe that many people can do it and they just don't know that they can, I do believe that discipline and all those other things are definitely important. Now you have people who are naturals, right? I would never like try to boast and say like I was a natural, but I do believe I was a natural. Maybe because of how early on I started doing these things and became known for it. But I believe that you have a lot of naturals out there, and I'm speaking from experience because when you get a more experienced and now someone who basically leads like the youth, or one of the leaders I should say of the youth, and especially when it comes to like the film and the drama aspects, you're able to pull on people and see their strengths and weaknesses because you want the church to participate. So when you bring on the church members, a lot of them have different strengths and weaknesses, and you have to have the skill and understanding of what you can get out of someone. And sometimes you get very surprised with the raw natural talent that some people have. The last project I did, I was very surprised to see like some people come and show what they're capable of. But I do believe that even with natural talent, you still need to be able to hone, right? That's the word for it, hone your skills.
Yeah.
And that's what I had to. I feel like I definitely don't think like I made it in terms of like peak acting. Like I think I have a lot more practice and training to do to really reach what I can do. Like I'm working on my crying. I'm working on crying on command, like, because I do the comedic side more, but like I said, I want to eventually hit more serious roles, and so I'm trying to really work on myself and really be have a wide range and be dynamic. But yeah, that's what I have to say about that.
I'm loving this discussion. And the reason behind it is because it brings so much respect to what being a creative is. Understanding that acting has layers. It is a talent, but seeing it as a gift means that you really understand the purpose behind it, and that it's something that can not only grow with you, but you realize the impact that it has on others. So it's not just merely about entertaining, as you had stated. You
Mm.
understand that this will live on beyond you, but it's
Mm.
you that is being used as the tool or the vessel for more.
Yeah, correct.
So, for Bahamians tuning in, if they're interested in being a creative, if they're thinking, you know what, I want to try acting, I want to put myself out there, I want to be on that stage in the spotlight, what is one thing you would say to encourage them and allow them to step out?
I'd say, listen, go for it. That's all I have to say mainly about that. Go for it. If you feel like you could do more, if you feel like something pressing on you, if you feel like what you're doing right now is not it for you, you're not satisfied, you're not content with your 9 to 5, or I was gonna say school. Of course, school is important, but if you feel like that ain't enough, like you feel like I think the key word I'm trying to find is lacking purpose. If you feel like there's something more, you feel like you're called to more, you feel like you could do more, I'd say jump right into it and don't be afraid. When I started making content, I had no idea what I was doing. I just was a young man who had a dream. I was a young man who had a vision. I knew things I wanted, and I had no idea how to do it. My first camera was an Android that was taped to a chair, and my first green screen was a bunch of posters taped together with green tape. And I just did it. I just did it, and I was really scared, of course, because I don't like to post. Like, some people think I'm an extrovert, but I'm not always an extrovert. I don't like to put myself out there all the time, especially if I don't know what I'm gonna get back. And starting the journey, I didn't know what to expect. I just did it because I knew that's what I wanted to do. So that's the key thing I want to let you, any creative or aspiring creative, know that you just gotta do it. You never know what you're gonna get back, but you know that you won't get anywhere if you don't try.
Absolutely. And I love your level of transparency because listen, that is what it is. People see content creators, they see actors, and they just kind of feel like, they have this big fancy studio and they're super confident. Look at them, I admire them. But as you stated, it's like, hey, I am just as scared as you. I am just as unfamiliar with what to expect. I am betting on myself. I am
Yeah,
taking a chance here. You can do
yeah.
it too.
Exactly. Like the worst. Well, I don't want to say like the worst that could happen to you, because people could be mean and nasty when they're ready. But what I will say is that if it's worth it, it's worth the risk. It's worth
Yes.
the risk. Is just like you said. It's like taking a shot on yourself,
Hmm.
investing in yourself, because you know that if you fail, you fail. And I heard that you never really fail unless you give up, until you give up. You know what I mean? But you never know what you can do unless you actually try. But like, you know that you won't do anything if you don't try. You won't reach anywhere. You won't accomplish nothing if you don't even try.
Absolutely. And if you actually look at persons when they talk about, what are the things that I regret as someone who is older, they look back at the chances that they didn't take. And even though in that moment at that age, it felt crazy, like there's no way, there's no way I'm doing this. Now that they're older, they're like, you know what? I should have just jumped in.
I can tell you,
All
if I
hands.
can give you a little, like, just a quick thing. Did you know, like, I put a lot of videos on, few have gotten viral attention, but most are on the surface level where the people who know me see it. I'm waiting for more of my content to get out there. But I will say that the few videos that actually got viral attention, did you know that most of them, there was a point where I wanted to scrap it entirely? I was discouraged. I it's like in the middle of editing, sometimes even during filming, I'm like, what am I doing? This is foolishness. Like not even the comedic foolishness. This is just doesn't make any sense. Like why am I doing? I got so discouraged so much times, and I realized it was those videos that I was most discouraged in, but still pushed through and posted it, that got the most attention. They were the most viral videos that I've put out.
Oh, wow. That is so ironic. And it just goes to show like what is in our mind, our perception, this narrative that we have of ourselves is totally different from what
Yeah.
people see. They see the dedication, they see the talent, and like we may kind of see it a little bit, but sometimes it takes them showing that to us for us to believe in ourselves more.
Yeah,
Yeah, that is
definitely.
awesome. So, audience, we're going to share a little bit of story time. I met Donnell in September, and this was me putting myself out there as an actor. I'm usually in front of the camera, and I said, you know what? I want to try a different aspect of storytelling. So he came in and we had this on-site rehearsal, and I had an opportunity to like try all of these different characters, and he really provided a lot of guidance that I have kept close to me because, as someone who is new, of course you have confidence and you really want to like show yourself out there, but I appreciated the fact that you, even before you knew that I hadn't acted before, you were willing to notice my strengths, highlight those, and encourage me. And that really goes a long way because sometimes people who are experienced, they see you, but they're not going to say anything. You know what I mean? They're almost going to be like, if I had to figure it out, you got to figure it out. And so I respect the fact that you didn't take that route. You were like, you know what? I'm here to help. I'm here to grow. I learned too. I'm still learning. And I know that everyone on set appreciated that as well.
Yeah, you listen, you were definitely, when I mentioned naturals, I do believe you are one of those naturals. This I didn't even know you had like a online presence up until that point. I did not know. But I'd say definitely, I don't know how far you plan to go in your career. Only God knows where He plans to have us and take us. But I do know that if you were to want to dive deep into that world, I think that you have the right stepping stones. I think you're on the right track. You have some natural talent in you.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And guess what? I am actually taking that risk and doing
Nice.
it. And I'm excited. I'm really
Nice.
excited.
You never know. You never know, man.
Exactly.
You never know
Yes. And
what's
the thing is,
possible.
it's whenever. You know what I mean? Once you have that, excitement, that passion, that encouragement, just do it. Were you going to say something?
No, 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 no. Continue.
Okay. Yeah. So thank you for that feedback. I'm definitely running with it. And you know what? I'm one of those people like it's always a lesson learned at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So with all of the range that you have grown into when it comes to content creation and acting, all of this experience that you have, how can we support you, your videos, and let us know what your next steps are?
All right. So basically, one thing I noticed is that a lot of people, unless it gets viral, a lot of people don't know that I'm still putting out things. They think I went radio silent because they don't see the video, and I always say, "When the next video is, Donnell?" And I'm like, "You do know I still post videos, right? You actually have to look at my stuff to see that I have videos, but not every. I mean, that's the goal. I wish that everything went viral, but the truth is, not everything goes viral. But I put out so much more content since the last video you've asked about. It takes me like it was bewildering at first, but now I realize, yeah, that's how it is. And if I had to be honest with myself, that's probably how it is for me too. Like I'd be like, what happened to this person? Where are they now? And they probably still doing things, but not everything gets circulated. And so one thing I would like is definitely people to know where they can find my content,
Yeah.
because they're still getting dropped. Now I admit that I'm not always that consistent as I want to be, but I do still drop new material. You can check out my YouTube, which is called Donnie Flow. That's DONNIEFLO. That's subject to change. That was what was available for me, so I just ran with it. It's a long version of D Flow because that's my artist name. But that's my YouTube, Donnie Flow. My Instagram is literally, and Facebook, those are literally my names. And TikTok, my full name, Donnell Morrison, DONEL, one letter each, and then Morrison, MORRISON. But you can find all my content on most of them social media platforms. And finally, I'd say there are some bigger projects underway in the making, and I think this will be I use this opportunity to make an unofficial drop as to my first television series that I'm putting together. If this can reach people with certain platforms or connections with platforms like TV platforms, I'd love it. But it's called The Bible. It's called The Bible, and basically, have you ever heard of The Office? You know the show The Office?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Basically, the Bible is going to follow the comedic and cinematography style of The Office. So basically, it's going to be an account of all of the biblical, well-known biblical characters and their stories portrayed in a different light to give a different aspect and comedic aspect, and just bring people in and let them enjoy the Bible in a different way, the story. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that definitely sounds really fun and definitely original.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to put that copyright in there too. Just a throw it out there, just in case anyone decide, yeah, you know what, that's a lit idea. Yeah, it's already on the way. It's already in editing and it's already in production. But I use this opportunity to let people know that stuff are coming, and I want you to support me as I drop them. And if you have any connections with people, a lot of people people think I'm in this industry and they already think I have connections. No, I don't. I need them so that I can put out this stuff and reach a wide audience and let them enjoy what I believe God has given me the gift to do. Power.
Loves that. So you heard it here. He has dropped all of his social media platforms, so you know exactly where to go for his videos that he's still putting out. And of course, we are staying tuned for that big production, which sounds
Yeah.
absolutely hilarious, I must say. Especially like you said, if you are a fan of The Office, you know exactly what you're getting into.
Yep.
Yeah, it's actually really, really worked. Donnell, I want to say I really appreciated your level of transparency tonight. You opened up about your own experience when it came to finding yourself, finding your purpose, what that meant to you, and also the heightened level of impact that you bring to those at Camp Bahamas, which was not only just a reflection of what you had received and how that made a difference in you, but also what you wanted others to experience. And I think that that really says a lot about your character, and also what you invest in others on a daily basis.
Thank you. Thank you so much for appreciating that. I am very much honored to be interviewed. I'm grateful that I'm certain multiple people, but I'm grateful to reach a point where someone could give me the opportunity to be interviewed and to speak to whomever may be listening. I'm gonna have faith that those who needed to be on this, to watch this, whether now or in playback, later, would get something from this. And if somehow be able to even help me, I'd even love that too. I love to help people, but I'm just interested and grateful for this opportunity.
You're very welcome. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on. This has been such a special conversation, that I know at least one person needed to hear. So I know that it's absolutely going to make an impact. I want to give another shout out to our sponsor, Amber L. Thank our audience for
Yeah,
watching,
yeah, yeah.
tuning in, being a part of all of this. And of course, another special thank you to our guest speaker who is using his gift to bring joy, life, and entertainment to others through his content creation and his acting, knowing that it's not just a talent, it is a purpose. And we thank you so much for that. So, everyone, you have been an amazing part of my final episode for season 3. I look forward to seeing you all in season 4. You can watch the playback, share the link, all of that. Stay tuned to that and stay tuned for Donnell's big production. Thank you all for watching.
God bless everyone. God bless Michelle.